Hi, my name is Tom Ross. I'm an IPC juror, and it's my privilege to judge your entry. Forgive me, I've forgotten the name. Windows to the Soul. Um, Very nice image. Very pleasing, very pretty girl. Well done in many regards. I think I would score this a 79. Um, Bear in mind that this is the impression of one judge, and there's five judges on a panel, and often their scores are similar. It might well score 80 in competition. I can't say it wouldn't. I want to give it a 79 because I think there's some things that could be done differently, and want to offer some information for you to utilize as you wish. Very pleasing, above average portrait, very saleable portrait, no question. Um, I personally have an issue, a couple of issues. I think the presentation, the border is fine. I'm not finding this particular color anywhere else in the image. Not a big deal, but that's a typical way to approach it um, is to pick a color from the image and then subdue it. So I think maybe you could maybe desaturate the presentation a little bit. I don't think that's critical, but I think that might add to it a little bit. It's very important that you keep all these horizontal lines straight within the image. That was well done. Um, but let's go to the first of all, the lighting and the pose. I love the lighting on her face. Very pretty eyes, very pretty face. Um, I do have a few issues with it. In terms of the lighting, I wish the bridge of her nose was as bright as the highlights here on her chin, on her philtrum here. A little more brightness in the cheeks might be a good idea, but generally very well done. Hair is great. Um, Towards the bottom of the image, this blue bikini top or a bra, I think is a little bit distracting. It's not the blue of her eyes, and it's a little bit bright. A little distracting because it's saturated. Um, I wish it was darker. If you took some of these folds out and these from the strap here, it might be a good idea. I just want to get to her face. I don't want to see detail that's going to be distracting. And you might just desaturate this halter top or this bikini top just a little more, so it's not pulling us away from her face. Her face is lovely. And then lastly, the pose. This might bother me more than some people, but I know other judges have had this issue with this kind of arm pose in the foreground. It makes her shoulder look very big, and she's looking right over the shoulder. It looks very big in the foreground. Um, I have an alternative for that. I'd suggest looking up a painter named Waterhouse, one of the Pre-Raphaelite painters named Waterhouse. Look up, do a Google image search for the image Boreas. I think it's Boreas, and that's my go-to pose. When I'm stuck for a pose, I always go to that one. That one is I think she's in full profile. I really like this three-quarter profile, and I think it would work. But if you brought this forward arm, her left arm, brought it down all the way down, and let her hand rest in the same position right across the top of her shoulder, and then have her drop that shoulder as much as possible, I think you'd find it a much more pleasing pose because her shoulder wouldn't be so dominating a part of the image. I mean, her shoulder is kind of huge in proportion to her face here. Um, that's my thought. By all means, go look the guy up. You'll get a lot of posing ideas from him, and you'll find that in a lot of cases, his treatment of that forward arm, he has a number of ways of doing that you might find useful. And the one last criticism I have is this shadow uh, on her far arm and before and behind her chin here. It's a little distracting. There's a shadow, a very pronounced line right here, and then right under her chin is a bright spot. I'd like to see that changed a little bit, even if you just kind of feathered this shadow in a little bit and darkened this one. I think it would help. And then her skin tone. Her skin has a nice, her face has some nice red rosy look to it. Uh, some of the complexion on her arms, it goes very gray down here. It's a little bit of gray back here. It'd be nice if you could hold that complexion more uniformly across her image. It's very nice in the face, and then it's towards the red end of the spectrum, but that works well in the image. Um, I think that would help boost your score as well. So just in review, I think I'd like to see a different pose, and just for your information, I'd really encourage you to check out some of the poses. And again, that's a Waterhouse, John Williams Waterhouse, and I think you'll find some really great posing ideas among the classical painters. But a very nice image, very saleable image, very pretty image. Congratulations. I hope I've helped or offered some new information, and thanks for the opportunity to critique and score your image. Thanks again.